Hey folks, what's going on? If you've made it this far, you're in the last 7 days of our 30-day challenge. And guess what? This is exactly where a lot of people lose it. It wasn't at the beginning, and it surely wasn't in that first week. It's right here at the end. Because this is the point where you feel like you've really got it going on, and what you do is you ease up and then you slack off. Hey folks, this is Ken, and this is Life Moves with Ken. On this channel, we talk about what it actually looks like for men to move forward in their lives, not through hype, not through quick fixes, but through discipline, direction, and the patterns that shape who you become over time. Because life moves whether you're ready or not. And the goal here is simple, to make sure that you're moving with it. Today, I want to talk about finishing the right way. So anyone can start something, and most people, they usually are able to push through the first couple of weeks, but finishing strong is really different. So finishing requires focus even when there's no excitement. And we've talked about that over the last couple of weeks, that during this journey of our 30-day restart, or whatever you've defined it as, there's generally not going to be a whole lot of excitement along the way as you're making a commitment to growth and to change for yourself. What's required is discipline, even when there's no momentum. And these last 7 days, they matter more than most people think. Not because they create all the results, but because this is how you define your ending, how you finish. And at this point, you're beyond motivation. You're relying on who you are and who you've become over the past few weeks. And this is what makes this stage so incredibly valuable, because this is where you prove to yourself that you don't just start things, you actually finish things. You finish the commitments you have to yourself. And that's what a man who's making life moves is all about. But here's the trap. At this point, you might start thinking that you've already done enough. You might start thinking that you've been consistent since day one, and it's no big deal if I miss one day. And individually, those thoughts, they don't seem like a big deal, but here's what happens. This is where people start to fall off. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens through a small decision over time. You start to loosen that standard. We've talked about that. You start to cut corners. We talked about that. And you become less intentional with what you're doing. And when that happens, what you've built over the past 3 weeks, it starts to weaken. So you don't lose discipline in one moment. You lose it through all these small compromises. And that's why this week matters so much, because this is the week where discipline either gets reinforced or it starts to fade. So what do you do now? How do you get to this finish line, this hypothetical place that we've been talking about? Here's what you do. Right now, your job is simple. Don't change a single thing. Don't add more. Don't take anything away. Stay with the same pattern, the same structure, and that same standard that you've been dealing with over the last few weeks. And you'll see that what got you to this point is what's going to carry you through. And so a lot of people, here's what they do. They make this mistake of trying to finish strong by doing more. And we've learned over these past few weeks that doing more doesn't actually help you out. What really helps is being consistent and ensuring that what got you here is what's going to keep you here. You repeat what's already working. Discipline isn't built through intensity, it's built through consistency. We've talked about that a bunch. I remember back in the day when I was in high school and I was running track, and I'm not very tall. I may seem tall on screen, but I'm not. I'm like 5'7", and I never was kind of the big dude. I was always kind of that, kind of a smaller guy, but always really, really fast and running track. And what I found was that what would get me to the finish line faster than most people when I was sprinting was the fact that I had trained so consistently and so seriously before the race came, that when it came race time, what I'd been doing over and over again is what got me through to the finish line. And more often than not, I got to the finish line in first place. It was that consistency of training, that consistency of showing up every day, that consistency of, as I say, putting on my tennis shoes, that made the difference when it came race time. You're in the ending portion of what you've been trying to build over these last 30 days. You're in race mode. You're in game mode. It's that time where you're trying to finish what you've already started. And what you've done consistently for the last 20 plus days is what's going to get you through this finish line. Just stay consistent. So at this point, you're thinking, so what am I trying to do here? And here's what I want you to know. This is not about improvement at this point. This is about completion. You are proving something to yourself. You're proving to yourself that when you commit to something, you follow through. You are proving that when things become repetitive, that you stay with it, because it never was about some big ending goal. It was about the process, and it was about you growing as an individual. You're proving to yourself that when there's no excitement, when there's no high five, and nobody's giving you the pat on the back, that you still show up for yourself. And that's where self-trust is solidified. You are building an internal trust in yourself, so that you know that when you start something, when you come up with a plan, when you set a standard, that you will actually finish it. It sends this message to your brain that you are in control of what you're doing now. It lets your mind know that this is how I function. I function in consistency. I function in completion of the daily task. I function in standards living. So I set my floor, and then that's the lowest standard that I'll go towards any task that I'm trying to complete. So, for me, I tell you every single time we have these opportunities to come together, that when I'm working out, you can probably tell me, how far do I go? That's right. I go 2 miles when I walk. So yesterday, even though I was tired after church, I had had a lot to eat, and I was chilling, relaxing, and watching basketball. At some point, I got up and put my shoes on, walked outside the door, and did 2 miles. That was all I did, but my standard, my lowest level of activity is 2 miles. So I did that. So what you're doing is sending clear messages to your mind that this is how I do it. This is how I function. And that matters more than any short-term result. So these last 7 days, what do you do? How do you make it through the last 7 days to ensure that you reach the finish line of this particular 30 days? All you've got to do is lock in to the task. And so you're taking what you've been doing and you're turning it into something that's stable, something that's repetitive, something that you can do and carry forward. This goal, believe it or not, it never was about 30 days of doing something. The goal was to build something internally that lasts, and something that can go beyond this moment. And so that's the way you determine how you're going to finish. And that's how your finish is going to be something you can be proud of, something that you can say, you know what, I made it from start to this point. And so stay focused, stay consistent, stay on the task, stay with your standard, and finish the cycle. You've already done the hard part. You started and you stayed with it and you pushed through the middle. Now all you need to do is finish. There are no shortcuts. There's no easing up. There's no starting over. Just simply get to the last day. So if this helped you, if this 30 days helped you, or even if today was your first day and this helped you, and this is your first time with Life Moves with Ken, hey, I'm so glad that you're here. Like and subscribe. This channel is about helping men move forward with intention, one move, one pattern, and one day at a time. And remember, you're not starting over, you're just starting from here. So finish what you started. I've been Ken, and this has been an amazing 30 days with you. See you next time. Take it easy. Stick with the standard. Start what you finish. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.